talk about games in general, what your thoughts were on them, and then we can get into specifics.
Yeah, on the past weekend, I think here's the deal. We played our tails off and gave ourselves a chance to win two really tough road games versus two teams that are playing for a conference title. Um, and we didn't have Braden Saturday, and that was a big one, but we still gave ourselves a chance to win. And I told them Saturday, I was really frustrated Saturday after the game. I told the players, like, don't misunderstand my frustration for anger. You know what I mean? Like, because I wasn't angry at the players at all. Frustrated because we let two opportunities slip. But, man, it wasn't from a lack of effort. And I mean, you talk about how great Sebo played on Thursday, and I used every ounce of Sebo Newton on Thursday, and we came up short. And he didn't have a lot of gas in the tank on Saturday. We knew we needed somebody to step up, especially with Braden not being there. We had some guys hit some shots. We made free throws all weekend, which has been our biggest Achilles heel all year. And they just fought their tails off, man. And you know, it just didn't work out. You know, credit to Utah Valley Saturday. They went to a press, and we didn't have a lot of. We actually discussed that Friday morning. Do we go over that? Do we not go over that? They only do it when they're down. And so we elected to talk about it, not really go over it on the floor too much. So that's on me because I knew it right in the moment. You know what I mean? And that was a credit to them that we struggled for three straight possessions to get the ball up the floor. We didn't really turn it over, but we didn't get a good shot. And that led to them going down there and scoring. That's how they got back in the game. But really proud of our team, man. I can't ask much more out of them, man, the effort that they're giving. But look, we're right there. I think we're building confidence. You know, you can go to Vegas and you could lose. You can go to Vegas and you can win. You know, our goal hasn't changed. We're trying to win two games this coming week, and go to Vegas playing as good as we can.
And you talked about it a little bit, but taking on two of the top three teams in the league, what kind of lessons does that give you, and how valuable is that so late?
Yeah, weirdly, I think even though we lost the two games, I think it gives us a little confidence. You know, I mean, look, we have a chance Thursday. We'll see what happens. We could win, we could lose. But I think I'm right. I could be wrong. But no, it's not 100% true. But we pretty much, if we win Thursday, beat everybody in the league. You know, and so going to Vegas, why can't you beat everybody that you see, right? And so, I think that's the message. We know that we're a good team, that we struggle a little bit. Look, that's college basketball. What we did this weekend is what everybody has been doing, right? Tough, close losses on the road. Maybe you steal one, you win your games at home. If we don't put ourselves in that tough stretch we had right there in the middle of January, we're in good shape right now, and we know it. And so we can't change that. But we know we're a good team, and we know that we can do some damage.
In effect, you're playing all three of the top teams in the league. More likely than not, you're going to have to beat those guys in Vegas
Of course,
if you
yeah,
want to win
you
the
have to beat
WAC.
somebody.
How helpful is it that you're going to be able to see them now, and then potentially see them next week?
Yeah, of course, right? I mean, we see with a 7-team league, you see everybody, like pretty quick. But look, man, whoever we draw, we draw. And you're going to have to beat good teams. We're all right there, close together. I think that was proven this weekend in all the scores, not just ours. And with Southern Utah this weekend and Tarleton this weekend, I mean, it was close games all the way around, right? Except for one, that was Southern Utah taking care of business Saturday. And so, look, I think it doesn't matter, who you're playing right now. We're just trying to focus on this weekend, get the best seed we can, and then go in there and we believe we can do some damage.
And I mean, both games had different guys kind of lining up the scoring sheet. Is that a good sign that different guys were able to kind of take over that offensive side of the game, especially so late in the year when it's going to take an entire team?
Yeah, I think so. Look, Thursday, it was a defensive issue, which we don't usually have. So I was really frustrated after Thursday. Not at the players, again, at myself. But again, that was a credit to Utah Tech. And we made some adjustments, which is why we got back in the game and had a chance to win. But they went on that early run that, man, our defense, our ball screen defense wasn't there. It was there Saturday, but we did not have an offensive issue for Thursday night. And then Saturday we struggled executing offensively down the stretch. But yeah, man, I think to see different guys step up, to play without Braden Saturday, yeah, it stunk, right? We want Braden there, but it was probably good. Some guys played out of position. And we worked as hard as we could Friday to make sure that, and that's why we spent so much time on the offensive side Friday, because we had other guys in different spots. We were going to they're going to have to run some stuff that they weren't used to running, and we had to put a few new things in. But yeah, man, I think overall, I think it's a good thing now that it's over, and we get him back. We'll have him back this weekend, and so now we have a couple more things in our arsenal that we can use.
And what are you looking for out of your team this last week of the season before you guys head to Vegas? Not necessarily scoreboard wise, but kind of from your team.
Just what they've been giving us the last 3 weeks, man. Effort, fight. We've talked a lot about finishing the race, right? And I think that's the most important thing. And I think that's resonated with them. That was their message to each other when I walked into the locker room Saturday afternoon. Was finish the race. And that doesn't mean you're going to win them all. But I think we've been doing that. These guys have been playing hard, and again, it's not just playing hard. They've been executing and doing things that we've been throwing a lot of new stuff at them these last couple of weeks, which is what you typically do as you're heading down the stretch. And man, they've been taking it and using it and doing it. And like, we'll have a great practice today. I have no doubt in my mind. I just met with my staff, and so that's all I can expect from them, is to give us their best effort, to fight and to finish the race.
Christian Olsen, as of late, has been a really bright spot. Just talk about what you've seen from him in terms of his commitment to the program and then what's been working well on the field.
Yeah, man, I told him this weekend, I'm super proud of Christian, man. I think that's been a common theme. It's no secret Christian struggled, and me and Christian struggled early in the year. He was slated in our first exhibition game. He started, and I've always known that he's this player. But he's had to learn to let the game come to him. To eliminate distractions and what everybody's telling him he should do, because he's a good player, and just focus on what I'm telling him to do. Because he has the ability to score, but to do that you have to be on the floor. To be on the floor, you have to do things the way that we want them to be done. And so he has bought into that. Me and him have spent a lot of one-on-one time together. I think that's been beneficial for both of us. I love Christian. We've never had a problem. It was just trying to get it figured out on the court. And so I think we've done that. And so he's getting more time. And I think, again, he was one of the guys that, even though he was getting more minutes already, got even more on Saturday. And it's great. It's kind of what Braden went through last year. Guys don't know you as well this time of year, right? And you're not a major focus on the scouting report. And you can go out there and have some success because he has that ability. And so, man, I think we'll continue. I have no doubt in my mind that he's going to play the same way. Whether he scores or not, you never know. But he's going to play the same way and get the same amount of minutes down this last stretch.
You mentioned using a lot of SIBO on Thursday, not having as much of him Saturday. Is that an area of concern or just kind of the circumstances?
Well, we had him. It was really circumstances. He got in foul trouble. I don't think he should have. It wasn't him. It was a couple questionable things, man. But and that kind of messed up his flow a little bit. But man, he didn't have a lot of gas in the tank. I used him up Thursday. We let him rest a little bit on Friday because I knew I played him a ton of minutes. But man, SIBO's been playing fantastic. And look, even though he didn't have the offensive output Saturday that he's had the last few games, he made a huge bucket down the stretch. I went right to him, and he made a level of difficulty as a 10 on a 1 to 10 scale to give us a chance right there at the end. So he still did what I needed him to do, even though he didn't have the overall output.
Yeah. And then talk about that Thursday game. He is 27, Braden is 23. Talk about the tandem of that and just how good that made y'all on the floor.
Yeah, it helps our offense, man. When our offense is pretty good. Like I said, if our defense would have showed up early in the game, we win that game Thursday. I'm not worried about that. That's not usually us. For whatever reason, I think some of that was game plan early. And so as a coaching staff, we had to adjust. And we did. We adjusted quickly before the first half was over, and we got ourselves back into it. But I didn't like how our shot selection in the first half. But they were open shots. But we had to make a few adjustments offensively. The players did, but they did that. But yeah, I think those guys scoring right now, we need it. We need 3 guys to step up every night if you're going to win a game. And so we just need somebody else to jump on board with them.
Yeah. And then Joseph Benzet hasn't started the last several games. How have you seen him continue to lead by example and not necessarily by in the starting lineup?
Yeah, that was strategic. Obviously, Joe didn't do anything to not start. It was more our depth and guys getting tired at the same time, and we were seeing a trend when we started. And again, and then it was putting a lot of pressure on the bench to all come in at once. It was almost like we were playing in waves, right, unintentionally. And so bringing him off the bench and Joe's a guy that can play like 3 different positions for us, so it doesn't really matter who comes out. He can come in, for Rich, and we can slide Yanni over to the 1, or he can come in for Yanni or Sibo and play the wing, or he can come in for Braden and play the 4. The only thing, and I was about to say the only thing he can't do is play the point or the 5, but I played him at the point last Saturday. So really the only thing he can't do for us right now is play the 5, but he's actually done that a little bit this year too. So I can use him at a lot of different places. So he can be my first sub regardless of who needs to come out. So me and him talked that through. He knows, and he's an ultimate team guy. So he was all in on that. It hasn't really affected his minutes, and he's smart enough to know that. He's still playing starter minutes, but it's made our team better. I think since we've done that, we've been much better in the first half.
And then just talk about, you guys had to come back from Utah. Now you go out to California to come back for your final game on a quick turnaround. Talk about the difficulty of that.
Yeah, travel in this league's tough. It's tough for everybody. We knew this was going to be a tough stretch. We've been playing great. We'd won 3 out of 4 or whatever it was. And now it's 3 out of 6 or something. I could be wrong by a game or two, but we knew this was going to be a tough stretch. But that's why we've been talking about just finish the race, man. And they did what they needed to do this week. We just didn't get the win, right? But they played hard and they executed, and they did everything we asked them to do. And so we just need to continue to do that. But is it going to be tough to be in Riverside, California on a Thursday and play here on Saturday? Sure. Should we be doing that? No, that's the truth. But we have 3 splits this year. Like this, with Thursday, Saturday, and in our league, it's not like you're driving down to UTA. You're going to Riverside or you're going to Utah, Cedar City, Utah. But that's the name of the game, right? Somebody's got to do it. We're kind of the outlier. Not everybody had 3 splits, but it is what it is, man. And so we've got to go and we've got to play, and then we got a long day of travel ahead of us the next day before our last home game. But man, I tell these guys all the time, man. When I was their age, I could have played every single day. I mean, we could sit here and make excuses all we want. I'd do anything to be 18 to 22, years old again, and I would play every single day if you asked me to, and I probably wouldn't run out of gas, And so we can certainly do it. Our plan is to go win 2 games this weekend. Why not, right? And so, but to do that, we're going to have to. I think as a coaching staff, we have to be very deliberate on how we practice this week because of the split. And that's what we were just talking about. So we got to be careful. I can't just grind them out this week. But we'll make sure we do it right, and we'll be okay.
And just confirm, you will have Braden Hubbard back this
We will have Braden. Yeah, Braden was a personal deal. He had a funeral, and so one that he couldn't miss. It's unfortunately the second one he's had to deal with in a very short span of time. And so, but man, we were all supportive of him being there. It's the right thing to do. But he got back yesterday, and he's with us, and he's ready to go.
How is the preparation different this late in the year? Seeing teams multiple times, how is it different for Cal Baptist and UTA this week?
You're working on the same stuff, but it's the time you spend. I think we can't. Early in the year you spend a couple hours a day, maybe more, in prep, but this time of year, you don't do that. I mean, I don't think you can, You have to scale back a little bit. And so basically eliminate the fluff, right? Like some of the drill work and the things and the repetitions that you do just throughout the year. We'll shorten some of those and we'll eliminate some of those. And we'll just focus on our opponent. And so we'll do a few things today that are repetition stuff for us defensively. But after that, man, it's all how can we, focus on the 2 opponents this weekend.
And then with Joe Scott kind of slowly coming back, what have you seen from him?
Yeah, I mean, man, he came in. I really wasn't, we talked about it. I wasn't sure if I was going to play him at all Thursday. He has a mask on, and he hadn't. The thing with him was he hadn't been able to practice at all, right? And so, I mean, he really was released while we were on the road, right? So he came out and practiced, but he was doing no non-contact stuff. And so his first contact was Thursday. And so, but we needed him, and we knew we were going to need him Saturday, but we were struggling, man. And so I threw him in there. And, man, I think he was a spark for us Thursday. He came in and got one of the crazy buckets he gets, that shouldn't go in. It makes no sense. But really defensively, and he rebounded. And without him, we don't have a chance to win Thursday. And then Saturday, obviously, he played more minutes. With Braden not there, he had to play the 4 and the 5 some. And what he allows us to do is switch more, and that was our adjustment. Obviously, Thursday is we started switching 1 through 5. That's really hard to do with Cade and Shy, just because of their size. And that's how we defensively got things settled back. And it was Joey at the 5, and we were switching. I mean, he was out there guarding point guards on switches, and he can do that. He has that ability, and so that's why I played him. I really wasn't going to play him. I went down there with about 2 minutes on the clock, game clock, so maybe 5 minutes total before I put him in there. I said, Joey, you're going to play. I need you to get ready. Like, I'm going to play you. Because I think in his head, he knew it was going to be, he probably wasn't going to play. And I wanted him to mentally be ready. And to his credit, man, he went out there and just played hard. Didn't really know, because some of the things we put in, he didn't get to go through. So we were very simple. And, man, he went out there and played hard. So he provided a huge spark for us this weekend. We definitely need him, going into the conference tournament. We need everybody going into the conference tournament. So I'm glad he's healthy.